So that'll be my second car. And then I'm contemplating, I want to get a Mustang, you know.
Bruce has a Mustang.
Yeah, but I want a real classic. I see the guy that owns, what's it, Potts Plus? What's his name? I forget his name. Anyway, he's got a
68
fastback. He wants 40 grand for it, though.
30. It's got the 390 Cobra in it.
Oh, it does have the 390?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 289. Oh, okay. It's a 390? You sure? Yeah.
I went and looked at it.
Okay. He's still at 40, or does he come down a little?
I don't know. I knew I couldn't afford it, so I didn't ask.
Yeah. Well, I did. I just said, hey, I want to know what it is. You know.
I gotta get out of here.
The color's not too great, though. Silver. You know, I like red or blue. You know.
You have
yellow.
a
Anyway.
Oh, hey, it's 7 o'clock, Vinny.
Okay. Well, no, Trisha's called. She vaporized, though. We're just seeing her name. No picture. There you are, Trish. Oh, you're muted, Trish.
Jim, did you mute me?
Yeah. I don't think you unmuted
Is
yourself.
that a test? All right. So, being 7 o'clock, I'd like to open up the Board of Health meeting for Tuesday, June 23rd. Myself, Trish LeClaire, Chair, Kelly McGovern, Vice Chair, Vinnie Forty, Member, Bruce Wilson, our Health Agent, and Tina Griffin, our Minutes Clerk. All right, just here for a second. I just want to pull up our minutes.
Okay.
Did you look at them already, Vinny?
I did.
Wow. So it's me
I
this
printed them out a while back, so killing my trees over here, you know.
Yeah, my printer's not working, so. Kelly, you already read the minutes?
I just finished.
Okay.
I got one half a page left. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion. We approve the minutes from June 9th as written.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay.
All right, so the next thing on the agenda is coronavirus updates. Bruce, got anything?
Yeah, the numbers keep continuing to fall. Back to phase 2, step 2. So we've got all of the restaurants now back with inside seating, nail salons, dressers. We're all back at work here. Going back to the restaurants there, Rob and I have been like straight out crazy dealing with people coming back up to speed, I guess you could say, and lots of violations and such that I'll let Rob touch on that when he gets to the food inspection reports here. But been quite a challenge here, getting everybody used to the routine and proper temperatures and everything. Our 9 o'clock meetings have now been reduced to 1 or 2 a week. Still continuing to get lots of complaints from the general public on the face masks and stuff, from people that are overly concerned. I've dealt with a number of letters and situations. We have a couple individuals in town there that feel that their concerns need to be addressed at the AG's office. However, in most cases, the AG's agreed with the plan of attack that we've had and haven't had to do anything to address anything more than trying to educate the people on the proper proper distancing and when isn't necessary. Looking forward to phase 3, probably in the middle of July. Still spending a lot of phone calls with people. When am I next, or when can I open, or when is our facility able to go back full out? We have a number of parking lot seating type of things, which would help aid with some of the seating issues. Some of them. We got one for Pete's Bluebird. We've got one for VFW, who wants to do outdoor. And we've got one for the Sol de Mexico. Although after being over at the Sol de Mexico today, and the inside seating there, they're not going to need the seats out there, so we'll probably scratch the additional outside seating, what they already have. They were going to add to it, trying to provide more social distancing. I don't know if you want to jump right into the parking
Yeah,
lot.
the Pete's Bluebird plans to open up outside seating.
That would be to the rear of the building. It's not even going to take up any parking lot space. He's got, the proposed like 5 or 6 tables out back there. Got access into the building through a door. It's right there, so it's now that there's inside seating, I'm not sure if he's going to do it, but he wanted to get the approval in order to have the outside seating and make that available.
He certainly has plenty of space over there to do that.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
The team went over there, looked at it. Jim, myself, Tim. It's an ideal spot for him. He wants to do it.
Good.
Right.
Do we have to make a motion on that to approve that or no?
I'm sorry, Trish, what did you say?
Do we have to make a motion on that to approve that, or is that just all set because you guys already looked at it?
I'd make a motion. That way, unanimous. We don't have anybody come back and at us,
Right.
Okay, so we're approving the seating plans.
Yeah, the outdoor seating plan for
Okay.
Pete's Bluebird.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the outdoor seating plans for Pete's Bluebird and the VFW. Is that correct, both?
Does the VFW, where are they putting theirs?
It's out in the back. It's in an area where they still should have adequate parking. In this case, it's in the parking lot, so you'd have to rope off or put some type of barrier so people don't get into it. But I mean, again, it's an ideal situation. They should not impact what they're doing over there, and there is an access, to a service door on the back of the building. So.
Okay, so
Okay.
Pete's Bluebird and VFW outdoor seating plans. I'd like to make that motion. Approval.
Okay, I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries.
And I would hold off on telling him. I think he's going to just stick with the seating he's got indoor, and outside patio seating.
So
Okay.
in other words, these other places here, they're not going to try any indoor. They're going to just do the outdoors for now. Is that?
No, they're gonna do both, aren't they?
both.
But they
Both.
probably limited with their space inside.
Yeah. You lose seats inside when you social distance.
Correct.
So
Okay. Got it.
him to make up some of the seats that he's lost.
That's fine. Good. Okay.
All right. So then the next thing on the agenda is the tobacco regulation discussion.
I don't see them online there. If you want to table that, Jim's shaking his head. I don't see them, so I would recommend skip over that.
Well, I think. Well, I
What
was
was
gonna say we
his-
could still.
Do we know what his request was, or what his
Right.
issue was?
No, he doesn't want us to. He doesn't want us. He wants us to overturn our bylaw and not take away or limit his being able to sell his products.
Well, what products are those though?
The tobacco vaping, and we turned around and we banned all vaping.
Right.
Well, the state did that though.
The
Correct.
state banned all flavors, and menthol and mint and stuff like that. You are able to vape tobacco-only products in the adult store, which is in Jamil's case.
Yeah, I think we did add where we eliminated, unless it was a cessation device, we eliminated any
Unless it
tobacco
was
product.
unless it was
menthol.
approved by FDA and
Correct.
used for cessation
Right.
purposes and so on. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I'm for saying we decided to be more strict on a few aspects of that. You know, that way it's an even playing field for everybody. The other way,
We don't need to defend it now. They're not there, so it's, you know.
Okay.
Send them a copy of the regs, and if they want to complain,
Right.
but I don't want to beat it up again. We've been through it a lot.
correct. So Tina, can we make sure that, let's say Laura gets Jamil a copy of the regs?
Sure thing.
And I believe, according to my notes, we approved it on the 4th of February.
Okay, I'll double check and let her know.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a bad idea to give both our regs in addition to the state regs to show that we're in kind of coordination with the state.
Correct.
Okay.
It's about 25 pages, but
Yes. But ours is not that long. It's, maybe 8 or 10.
well, 12 pages.
12 pages. Okay.
Well, maybe we can attach something to ours and just say, also see state regs,
Correct. Yeah. So we
at
don't have
this
to ship
website
45.
or something like that, instead of sending them 45 pages.
Correct. Yeah. It's a
I
good
would hope
idea.
that he would read that anyway, but
Well, maybe he has, because supposedly, Jim, was he supposed to show up tonight? Jamil?
Yeah, I believe so. And someone did just enter, but there's no name attached to it at this
Okay.
time.
So I think we'll do what, I don't know, we want to make a motion that we'll send them our regs and the state regs, or give them the link to the state regs, because it's 45 pages.
I don't think we need to make a motion on that. We can just send
No,
it
I don't
out.
think so. It's a rule, it's a regulation. Okay.
It's done. And it was effective June 1st of this year.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll mail them a package, Vinny.
Okay, so what's going on with Stephen Road?
We received a complaint from one of the owners in there that they would like to have a sign put up telling them to, not curb their dog and not allow the dog to defecate on the area there that, needs to be cleaned up. We have one sign left. I guess we could donate that to the cause. It's just, my big concern is who's going to be the enforcement on that, whether it's animal control or us or whatever. How do we, I guess if they take pictures of the dog doing it, then maybe we have a way of pacing it down. But
Gotta draw the line at some point, guys.
it's supposed to be on us, but it's such a hard thing, because how do you catch someone, know their name, know their address? I mean, the only way you could possibly do that is if you see someone, walk their dog, the dog, goes to the bathroom, they don't clean it up, and then you watch them get in their car. You could probably take a picture of their license plate.
Or they walk to their house.
But
It's
follow
definitely a
them.
neighbor. Stephen Road is a dead end street. It's around. It's definitely a neighbor.
Right.
Yeah.
according to the sign, it's a $300 fine.
500, right?
On the sign, I believe it's. I'll look at it again, but I believe it was $300.
That's an old
Okay.
sign. Then we should get rid of that sign. It's
Yeah,
up to $500.
We should put it up just to get rid of the last one.
We know how well people read signs.
I agree.
We thought about that, Vinny, but you know what? Unless we have multiple complaints at one area, we shouldn't waste the sign.
Okay. Here's the other thing too, though, where we did put the sign down there near Central Ave off that street that leads to Woonsocket. So far, in the last year, no complaints. So maybe they are reading.
Well, no, they started to complain, but then we told them the same thing. Unless we can actually have physical proof of it happening and a way to track the person, then it's impossible to find them.
Yeah.
So
Is that really our area, is to monitor dog poop?
I talked to animal control. They said the only way they could do something, somebody took a picture and then she would go down and talk to them anyhow. But I mean,
Yeah.
you got to have proof.
I mean, any waste, fecal waste, is in our purview. So whether it's a goat, dog, human, you know, we obviously don't have them defecating outside normally, so we have septic systems to contain the waste. But you know, animal waste, bird waste certainly destroys our water quality, can cause disease, right, Trish?
Yep. I should have
And
added that to the agenda.
you should have, yeah. We might want to follow up on the lake and get some.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying we should add that on the next agenda.
Do you want next time the guy goes out and gets samples, have him grab a sample of Hiawatha?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah. We could actually just bring it up at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
You know, it's not an issue where I think someone says, "Hey, I didn't have a chance to comment on that." I mean, it's pretty much whoever lives around there has rights to the lake, but people can use the access point and get to the lake. And then if you're visiting a friend and they're on the lake, we should assume the water is clean, you know?
I don't think it'd be cost to have the water tested. Or they already doing it anyway.
We only test the bathing pots where the kids used to bathe. So, like Arcan.
But I don't think it's been tested yet though.
No.
This year.
Right. Well, probably because of COVID-19, no one's figuring they're going to be congregating on a beach. Yeah.
Surprise!
Yeah,
Everybody's still swimming off their property.
Yeah, I know. But with Silver Lake, we'll assume they are doing the 6-foot spacing. I've driven by, I haven't had the burning desire to drop in, but you know, I could.
All right. So what else is on the agenda here? Let's see.
The next time.
We're gonna talk about Maryland. We're gonna talk about Maryland, right?
Yes.
He's retiring. We're still looking for a tobacco agent position. I know Robbie is interested. And we had one other person interested, right?
There was a recommendation from Sarah McCulkin, who's the
Yeah,
region director, who said that
Okay.
this person worked with Marilyn and has, is out on his own type of thing.
Okay, but we haven't heard from that person.
I don't think we've reached out to them.
I think we should definitely do that before we go advertising generally. You know, if we have Rob and the other person to, we don't need 3. We could have 2, and we'll see what happens, I mean.
But with Robbie being interested, we talked about maybe seeing when the next training was, if he's interested in going to that, and
right.
just even seeing if he's interested in it, because it's a free training. So
yeah.
You interested in that, Robbie?
Yeah, definitely. If we can
Okay.
whatever date it is on, we'll definitely go.
Like I said, once we had Marilyn come into the picture from the past years that I was on the board, boy, tobacco control never got so good. I take an exception. When we had Lisa Matola as our tobacco control agent, it was extremely well run. And then she moved on, and then we got Marilyn. So between the first few people we had before Lisa and before Marilyn, they weren't that good. Things were getting thrown out of court because they didn't have everything lined up properly. But certainly when Marilyn took over, there were more businesses, I think, and it got a little more aggressive, We didn't do a lot of stings in the old days, too many times, So Marilyn certainly had family friends, and that could work the thing pretty good. So Rob, you're gonna have to find your friends that look like they're 27.
We got plenty of them like me.
Excuse me. Yeah, but they're really 19 or 20. Yeah.
So maybe if Tina could just let Laura know that we want to reach out to Sarah and ask when the next training is, that would be
We'll find out when the next round of MOA training.
Sure.
I imagine it's
So,
the via Zoom or internet at this point, but
all right, and then the next thing on the agenda is the July calendar for the employees.
Yep. We have that on our thing?
it's in that packet.
What the heck? I have it facing my computer here.
Okay.
Bruce, one question I know we had is when you and Laura put in for vacation, do you just put that into Tim or do you put it into both of us? Do you know? What's the protocol on that? Because Vinny needs to know when you're away to be the backup.
Correct.
Yeah, if you notice on July, I haven't put any time down.
Okay.
Maybe going forward, just to give us just a heads up so Vinny knows where he's
Right,
going to
yeah.
be.
Because
My next time out, I think, is the last week in August.
okay. The only other thing I have to do for you, Bruce, is the inspection of final at Indian Run.
Yeah, just,
That's no problem. I got that covered.
I don't
He'll
want
let you know, and then you let me know.
Have you been out there? Have you seen the fence the neighbor put up?
I just saw a pic, I think, that somebody sent me, but I haven't really been out to look at it. That'll probably be fun time to look at it, you know? Trying to go down Scott, that street now with all the traffic.
Oh, you gotta come in the other way.
Yeah, you gotta come in the other way. Okay, fine. That's true.
The other fence has got to be almost 14 feet high. Which
All right, so now the next thing on the agenda is the complaint update.
if I could go back and expand on that, the client that's building that house has been a long time client, and he may put in an offer on a piece of property across the street. If that's the case, I would like to approach the board about, supporting my client and doing a septic upgrade plan there. If Vinny would be so kind to be the review person on that one.
No problem. I can do that for you, Bruce.
If I can
How do we
divulge-
do that? Do we just have to disclose that he's doing that for the town? How does that work, Vinny? You've done that in the past.
Yeah, usually what'll happen is, if it's a client that he's already designed plans for or has, done repairs for, it shouldn't incur usually what happens is he'll have to, abstain from obviously inspecting the system, so.
So he's just designing it, he's not inspecting it.
No, I'll be
That's
doing the
okay.
inspections on that.
Okay,
And that's,
all right.
I did it for one other person a few times, like when Al was our agent and he was an active engineer. I had no choice but, cover the board and the
I didn't
town.
know if there was like some sort of conflict of interest, so I just want to make sure he's covered right now before.
No, if he did it and then didn't disclose it and then someone brings it up, like some neighbor doesn't like there's a house there now, says, hey,
Mhm.
that's why if I step in and I fill out the forms and stuff, the Board of Health is still inspecting it and I'm certified to do that. So, it's just like an extra duty. It's like he's on vacation and there's a deep hole or there's a final or whatever. Or someone needs a D-box repair inspected, whether it's ADC, John Vadney, whatever.
Does he need to make a signed statement just so we CYA type of thing? Or
he could, or when the plan comes to the board, he could make a mention right there.
he has to put a disclosure into the clerk as well, per Laura.
Yeah.
Well, let's do that. Okay, I just want to make sure that he's covered and everything's okay. before
Right.
he
We don't want someone trying to figure out how to get to the agent via an ethics complaint, whatever.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Also, while we're on that same subject, there's a couple of parcels that have been taken for taxes that I was talking with Dennis on. I noticed that Dennis is in the background here. That if the town were to turn around and market it, if the property had been permitted, it'd make a better sale for the town. And as an employee and as part of my task as an employee, would probably go through there and put something together with town letterhead so that they could market the property as permitted on the two locations.
Sounds like a good idea.
I don't know, Dennis, if you're there, if you wanted to jump in on that. Or-
Sure. Yeah, Bruce and I had talked. We have 2 properties that we have in tax title that the 1-year right of redemption will expire in September, so we'll likely be auctioning them off. One's on Robert Street and one is on Lake Street. And they both appear to be buildable lots. They had trailers on them now and have been vacant for a long time. So I thought it'd be helpful if we, when we go to auction, if we could sell them as buildable lots with approved septics. Obviously it would generate more income for the town. So that's what we were talking about. And I asked Bruce if he thought it might be possible to do that.
I think it's a good idea. And like I said, we can cover it with just a letter and, you know, stuff like that. That should be fine, you know.
That's great.
He has expertise there, and obviously, you know, as I usually say in land things with people who I work for sometimes, if you got a Title V in hand, or if you got a perk in hand and a wetland in hand, the property is much more valuable than just saying, I got a piece of land you may be able to build on. Because, you know, you can't even say that, because if you sell someone it's buildable, then they find out it's not buildable. And, you know, you're in a catch-22.
Right. We want to be able to market it with approved septic as well as certification from the building commissioner that it's buildable. So that would be helpful, I think, when it goes to auction.
I agree, yeah. No problem doing that. I think that's a good idea. And, you know, like I said, we'll get a few more bucks for it.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome.
So Bruce, 31 Irene Court, that's all set?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna jump into the complaints. I report, 31 Irene Court, the owner had filled his front yard with reprocessed asphalt, grinding from a driveway. I got several complaints from neighbors because they were all concerned that they have drinking water wells out there. So I've researched it. I talked to 2 different people at DEP and found that if the particles are all broken up to 6 inches and minus 6 inches, that it's considered suitable fill material. And I'm not sure I would want to use it myself to put in the yard and then try to grow grass in it. But the guy out there was well within his rights to, you know, utilize it to fill his yard. It's not considered hazardous. I got a letter from the company that gave him the material, and the property came from various driveways, but there were no hazardous materials or anything on those particular locations. So we ran it through the grinder machine there and mixed it with a little bit of gravel, and that's what we've got. I've talked to 4 of the families out there, and they all, you know, been apprised of the findings that I got from the solid waste management and Lenore, Lenore White from DEP. So
I went to the tox stuff, the state and the federal mainly, and the stuff has no long chain hydrocarbons, no basically benzene or other stuff that might be present when they process fresh asphalt right from the plant. That's why when you see Mass Highway or any big highway project, they put a silt sock that's also a oil and contaminant absorbing sock. Then that's turned in as hazardous material. But reprocessed, ground up, you know, especially if it's an old asphalt, it basically has no toxins left in it. So.
Then we received a letter from a concerned citizen that worked at Antron. They were concerned about the fact that most of the people in there weren't wearing masks at their station. All of the machinery and stations on where the workers are spaced out greater than 6 feet. So it was determined that they didn't need to wear the mask there, but the employee felt that they a little more concerned, turned around and filed a letter with the AG's office. I spoke with the AG's office, and I guess the AG reached out and spoke with Vinny, said that they had a letter coming, but that everything was handled, and you know, my decision to allow them to work without wearing the mask in that area was, you know, suitable if they, you know, go to the lunchroom or someplace where they're congregating, then everybody would be wearing the mask. But if everybody's at their station and socially distanced, there was no need for it.
Yeah, just to add a little something with machine shop work, most of the machines are guarded, obviously, because OSHA requires it. But by the same token, you have to wear safety glasses. So everybody, even if they don't wear glasses, has to wear safety glasses. The mask, when it's up over the nose, or even sometimes with the mouth, if it's not a good mask, it tends to get water vapor up into the thing. So the person operating a very high-speed machine, something at 20, 30,000 RPM range, could actually either make a mistake on the pot or have a pot of it come out because they can't see what they're doing. So it's an extreme hazard. I talked to John Kauker at Antron, the vice president of operations, and he said, he was going to forward us a letter. He talked to the state person. I think he's forwarding a letter to the state as well. But, he runs the management operation there, and he said that every machine is, like you said, Bruce, if not 6, it's 8 feet apart. And when they go to a break room or when they go where there's a common area for a meeting, they'll wear masks because they don't need to wear their safety glasses. But that said, even John said when he's out in the shop, he has to wear safety glasses because it's a requirement, OSHA requirement.
And they don't, and I was told that they don't let people in the building without a mask.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
people that don't work there have to wear one when they come in.
Correct, yeah. And usually they don't get too far into the actual manufacturing operation. They'll get to a break, conference room, or if it's a distributor or something like that. But they are following our mask guidelines for everybody coming in. So if WD Mason or FedEx drops off a package, they got to have a mask coming in the building. I think we're all set. It's just like the last person had sent us a comment. I forget that person's name, but it was a lady, and she had immediately called me, and then she called Bruce. But prior to giving us a chance to do anything, she called the COVID-19 number. So it was sort of like, I didn't get blindsided, but Bruce did next morning. He was like, there's a person calling you from the state saying, hey, we got a violation complaint. He said, yeah, we know about it. We haven't had a chance to get a letter out to go look at the operation, I forget where that was, but I think that was actually a person serving food at we call it a takeout window,
Is that it for complaints, or do we have other complaints?
Yeah, the other complaints that I gave Bruce, last 2 weekends, I've gotten 3 complaints to me on the Little League and them not abiding by the mask and distancing rules. Parents were concerned about pulling their kids from the team. But I think Bruce spoke to the director or something, Bruce?
Yeah, I spoke to the director. I mean, anybody playing sports, the mask, it's just not going to cut it because their CO2 exhaling isn't thorough with the mask on. And you start to exhume, by running or playing ball there, the poor kids aren't going to be able to breathe well and become dizzy or pass out even. So that the whole process of wearing the mask here is defeated. The team captains were instructed to try to keep the kids apart, although kids are going to be kids and they do like to hang close together. But for the most part, as long as they're friendly, reminding by the coach that try to maintain your social distancing was the plan of attack there.
Right. I think the
So the
complaint was
parents-
that the coaches weren't wearing them and they were being the example to the kids. That was the complaint, but.
So the kids are supposed to be wearing masks?
No,
The
That's not-
coaches,
The
That's not
coaches maybe.
my intent was to have the kids wearing masks there, but some of the people are overcautious and felt that the kids should be wearing masks.
I mean, if they're sitting in the dugout not playing, they probably should have a mask on.
All of the playing fields, some have dugouts where the kids are practicing.
Okay,
There's all regs for that stuff in place already.
right.
There's only supposed to be so many kids in the dugout, sitting so far apart.
Right.
The kids, when they're practicing, they're supposed to be 6 feet apart, but they don't have to wear a mask.
Right.
As far as I know, the coaches don't have to wear a mask either.
Okay.
I mean,
12 people on the field. They're not playing games yet, Vinny. It's all practice.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
12 people on the field.
They can't start play. Jim, correct me if I'm wrong here, but they can't start to play until phase 3, right? Which would be like the middle of July.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no games, just practicing. They're supposed to be in small groups, like Tricia was saying. That there's very specific criteria that I know the Little League president is well aware of. So hopefully it's trickling down to the coaches.
Okay. So I guess we got that resolved. I hope.
I don't know if there's a all. I think the parents were wondering if something ever happened, does that mean the whole league has to be pulled out and quarantined? So they were just pulling their kid out is what they were saying. So I'm like, you got to do what you got to do. It's your decision. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not comfortable, obviously they can take the kid out. The poor kid's the one that's
Right.
going to.
Yeah. The
Nobody
other
should do
thing.
anything that they don't feel comfortable with.
Right. The other thing, if someone shows up positive, whether it's a coach or a kid, that whole contact list will be quarantined.
Mm-hmm.
It's automatic. Even if you
Right.
say, well, we were 6 feet. They, technically, I don't think a parent would say, oh, yeah, I'm okay with that. They said he was 6 feet. It could have been just 1 minute when they weren't, and there's no mask. So, you're going to get the whole team quarantined.
Fortunately, there's more testing available. So if somebody felt they were exposed, it's a lot easier to get a test now.
True. Yeah. Is it still the brain tickling invasive test? Or they reverted to the, I don't know if you noticed, a lady scientist came up with a little square. It looks like a, what do you call those? Like the dominoes. Anyway, and it can be put blood, urine, saliva, pretty much any body fluid on it. And it'll give you and you supposedly it's supposed to be available. So you can buy it at the pharmacy. So.
That's probably checking antibodies. You need that test. If I'm
Yeah, I think it is because she's an immunologist. Couldn't think of the word. Thanks, Bruce. But I don't know if when that will be readily available. But certainly they did say they were going to do the DNA test just by swabbing the cheek, the saliva. Which the other thing like I said, somebody slips, you're going to have a Q-tip in your brain because it's very, very soft up there.
So at CVS, it's not. You don't go that far up.
Okay.
It's actually pretty easy to do. So if anyone needs a COVID testing, just go on to the CVS website in Bellingham and sign up and go through the drive-thru and go get it. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
And I also think that the Red Cross is checking for antibodies, but it's already filled up pretty quickly. So I think the last time I looked, there was availability in July or August.
Okay. Is that because if you're given a blood draw, they got to make sure it's free of everything? COVID's one.
No, they're just doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Are they soliciting or looking for people that have had it so that they can work with the antibody?
Yeah, so I saw an advertisement for it. And also you go to their website. But can you imagine how many people are interested in that?
I don't know. How many?
A lot.
Anything for a solution. That's what,
People are like, oh, I was sick in, December and I think I had it, or November.
Yeah, I don't know.
And now they want to be tested to see if they're immune or not.
Yeah, figuring if they're immune, they won't get the second wave.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Well, Laura just sent a message.
I just saw that. Are we going to do food inspections next?
He said he can't sign on. Yeah, we could do food inspections.
Yeah. You want to see if Jim can send him another link?
Laura, if you can hear me, the board suggested that we mail him a copy of the town's bylaw and the state bylaw so that he could read that and become familiar with it.
It was effective June 1st.
Hi, he did get a copy of it, but I think he wants to vary from it because it's unfair and he's losing all his business.
I guess my comment is, it's not any more unfair than everybody else who sells tobacco stuff and products. They're all not able to sell those products anymore.
Well, I think that's what he wanted to discuss. I think he wanted to get a waiver or some kind of permission that he could continue his business. But I'm not sure why he can't sign on. And also the woman with the dog waste problem, she messaged me that she couldn't sign on.
Oh,
Actually, I'm in now.
Oh, okay.
oh,
But there was a problem with Zoom. I was in early, about 10 minutes of, and 10 minutes of 7, I still couldn't get in. So there is an issue. So if someone else is having a problem, it's definitely a Zoom problem for sure.
Michelle, I don't know if you can hear me. We have one sign left at the office. You know, with the board's permission, we could get you that sign and have that installed. I'm just not sure who would be able to enforce or follow up on it. I recommend that if you see it, to get a picture of it, and then maybe we could work with the dog officer as to, you know, making these people aware that you know, they shouldn't be doing that. But I mean, there is a sign. You know, if the board feels it's okay, I mean, I can get that to you and you can have it put in somewhere.
Okay, that would be great. I actually captured a few shots just to show you from the neighborhood what I'm seeing, what we're seeing as residents at different locations, both in front of my home, but also in other locations. So I had that available to show anyone that wanted to see, you know, just to verify that it's a continual occurrence, because we have a lot of pets in the community. We have roughly about 11 to 12 dogs on our street alone. Then also the side streets of Blackstone and some of the other side streets, there are neighboring pet owners that also are bringing in their pets. So we're getting hit pretty hard.
If you can see an address,
We don't want pictures of excrement, though.
we want them in the process so that we can
Right.
identify.
Are they dogs just running loose, or are they dogs that people are walking?
The dogs people are walking.
Okay, so the other thing is, if they're just walking, and hopefully they're not parking a car somewhere and then walking over and using that area. That was happening in another section of town. But if it's someone walking a dog and they poop and they don't pick it up, if you could just, I don't know, I hate to say follow, just take a picture, you know, the dog, and then them go in the house with that dog, or into their back of their yard, that would be perfect. Now, again, we don't want someone getting some neighbor going crazy because someone's
Well,
foot dropped, you know?
we also don't want a picture of just excrement on the side of the street. We actually need somebody with a dog there in the act, you know. We don't want another South Bellingham situation where
No, and the other thing too is, if we wanted pictures of excrement, you should see the walking trail. It's horrendous. People actually sometimes bag it and throw it there, but most of the time it's just sitting in the grass. So you got to stay on the, what we call the walk area. Do not separate too far from the walk area. It's a lot of little landmines out there, because I walk it 3 times a week, and I'm amazed at people. I don't know. They're littering, but
yeah, I personally, I don't want to follow anyone.
Okay, that's fine.
That could, it could be a difficult circumstance.
You can try the sign. Maybe that'll help deter. I mean, I don't know what else they'll offer.
I don't think the sign is updated. It's an old sign. We got to do a corrected sign if we're going to put a sign out there.
Oh, come stop by and take a look at it, because I think it might work.
I think it was one left over from the south end of town, Kel.
Yeah.
If it says 300, it's not a current one.
Okay.
What's the fine now?
5.
Yeah.
Well,
Bruce,
sorry,
can you just send us a picture of the one that you have?
Yeah,
We'll be
absolutely.
able to,
When I get it tomorrow, I'll text the picture to you guys all.
And the other thing too,
green
Bruce.
and white? Is it
It's
green and white?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that must be the one that we had done. But send us a picture. We'll know if it's the most recent one or not.
And the other thing too, just for Michelle's purpose, if it's okay to use that sign. It's not needed to be updated. The DPW has to mark wherever the thing goes. They have to do a dig safe circle. Someone has to look at it so they don't hit a utility. And they will put the sign in for us. So, you know, it'll be a work order to Tina or DPW to get them to put the sign up.
Someone has to mark out where they want the sign before
Correct.
DigSafe will go out and mark out the services. So you'll have to decide where you want the sign and then call it into DigSafe, and then DigSafe calls it out to all the utilities, including us.
Right.
That's great.
And,
That would
and then
be
the town will put the post in and the sign for us. So,
That would be great. I'm thinking if as an individual comes onto Stephen Road from the main road, if they see a sign right there, it's just a good visual reminder to please
Michelle,
pick up.
just give me a call. I'll make an appointment to meet you out there, and we'll take a look. And then, you know, at least get started with, you know, some pictures and idea or market and dig safe and everything we got to do. But just give me a town hall and take a trip out there, see what we can do. Is there a sidewalk?
There is a sidewalk, yes.
Okay.
There is a sidewalk for most of the street, so it's not a problem. But
Okay.
yeah, you probably want to put it on the inside of the sidewalk, not on the sidewalk, obviously. Whatever. So.
Yeah. Okay, great. If I can just get your contact information, that would be great for follow-up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure. I don't know if you have a pen and pencil right there. I'll give you my direct extension.
Okay.
It's 508.
Okay.
657.
Great.
2860.
Okay.
I'm not the
508.
message because I do run around and do a lot of inspections, but I'm pretty good about returning calls right away.
Okay. 508-657-2860.
That's it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hopefully it helps.
Yeah. Visual reminders, that's what I say.
Exactly.
Thank you.
We just hope people read them because most people don't read the signs, but whatever. But we do put them up, you know, like for dogs entering stores, they're not supposed to be where food is. We have signs, and then sometimes signs disappear, but a lot of times people just, they can't see a big yellow sign saying, you know, service dogs only, you know, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like people, they don't read signs, but we'll, you know,
I know.
we'll encourage them to read them because if not, they're going to end up getting fined. So whatever. You know, it's the hard way of finding out. There's a sign there, you know. It's like the police officer sees there's a sign there for speed and for no parking, and people will park there, or that people will speed. They'll get a ticket. So can't use the old I didn't read it, you know. But
I know
people do that with us.
Some counties have as much as $250 for a pet waste, you know, that isn't picked up, which is amazing. But you know, any visual sign is a reminder. So we hope for the best. That's what we're hoping for. Thank you.
Do we want to do bills now, guys?
Yep.
Oh, you guys are jumping over the food inspection. Robbie has been.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we did.
Over what he's done and how we were able to get some of these people back on track. He's been putting in quite the effort there. And the new program is totally awesome. Well, you guys have seen some of the.
And finishing late at night on some nights.
Oh, I know.
When I get a message saying it's 8 o'clock, I just finished this place, I'm going like, holy Toledo. Because, you know, sometimes there's a lot of, how do I say it? Chatter on certain restaurants not being able to figure how to reopen.
Yeah, but you want to catch them at their busiest to find out what.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in 3 months, you don't forget how do I say it? Use your brain, follow food safety if you're in business for years. But it seems like in 3 months, people can't figure how to, you know, and where's their serve safe person? That person should be right on top of it. Unless they're not essential to those people. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a different way people do things nowadays. I don't know. But the Board of Health will let you open, but you need to follow the rules.
So
All right.
Robbie, four places in a week. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, so obviously you guys knew about Bamboo prior, so I did do their follow-up inspection. The new person in charge there is actually the son of the owners. He's actually really taken charge over there, whipped his parents kind of into shape, and when I went back, everything was perfect. He actually said that he knows his family can be stubborn, so if there is any particular issues, he's actually just going to text me. We've been communicating back and forth because any questions he had, I've had an open line of communication with him just to make sure he was all set. But that he'll personally call me if his parents need a reminder as to what we can do. So that was good. We did obviously have the discussion with Grumpy's earlier. When I had walked in, there was a number of issues, several time and temp issues. There was, just from my count, I think it was 21 items that were uncovered or unwrapped in different storage facilities that they were then recovered. I did put a temporary hold on their reopening for the day, essentially. So they addressed all the issues, tossed everything that was an issue, and then I went back and basically gave them the green light to reopen, knowing that I will be in the area and keeping an eye on them. Italian pizza, again, as you guys got the reports last night, I ended up going back at a little bit after 10 o'clock. I met the owners there, and we walked the restaurant together and went through a list of things that needed to be addressed. They do have some things that are a 6 and 12 month item. They have a hole in their basement floor that needs to be filled with cement. They're in talks with the landlord as to who's going to basically pay for that, as well as phasing out any of the shelving units that they have is a more long-term issue, just because they do have a solid number of them. But they did stop using the ice chests as a prep table and no longer have chemicals with their to-go containers and so on and so forth. So I did do a second pop-by inspection during their lunch rush just to make sure that, obviously, when I was there first thing this morning, everything was fine because all the meats that had come out had just been from straight out of the fridge and freezer. Everything was maintaining temperatures perfectly with the lid solution that I gave them. So they now have every food item covered by a separate metal lid. So they're only opening the lids that they need as they're filling the orders. And that's helping the temperatures quite a bit. It's sad. There was actually so many of them. I'm forgetting which ones there were. Sold in Mexico, obviously, we talked about the temperature issues. There was a number of other places today, PJs that I had to have for a large amount of meat, Subway as well, but it's all the same issue where their line service units aren't able to maintain their temperatures just due to the excessive heat outside that's now inside being close to 100 out. I did want to talk to you guys about the grab and go stations that are a number of the gas stations, such as the Cumberland Farms, Rapid Refill. There was also one at Richdale's, which isn't a gas station, but all of those grab and go stations, just because they're wide open, I have not had one that has passed. Every single one I've gone to, they've had to throw out every food item because they were all significantly out of temp. I don't know if it's something that maybe we as a town or a board can talk to them about possibly not using. I know that the Cumberland Farms, I believe Bruce went to a few weeks ago and had to have the same thing, or maybe it was Vinny. I know that they said there was someone else that was there. But to have all of your food thrown out twice in a matter of less than a month, you would think that they would get the info.
Yeah. Rob, is it that it's just because of the excessive heat lately, or is it just the way the thing's designed? It's not insulated.
It's not insulated at all. So basically, okay, it's a wide open fridge door.
Yeah,
some of it, they don't even have the thing cranked up to the proper temperature.
Okay. I think we should just tell them they can't use that, or we're going to have to throw all the food away every time. So it doesn't make sense, because what we don't want to have is someone eating it, getting sick, going to a hospital, and then that report will come back to us.
Yeah. As of this moment, just based on the inspections that I did in this past week, I have re-inspection schedule on Udo's, again, Rapid Refill, Richdale's, Cumberland Farms, the Honeydew on North Main, Max Roast Beef, Italian Pizza as a spot check again, Subway, PJ's, and then Grumpy's. So that's my current list. I do fully intend to have actually all of quarter two's inspections done by Saturday. I will have completed 114 inspections in the last 2 weeks. So Just kind of moved right on through. I know that's going to be a little bit of an issue for invoicing, so I'm going to try to, before the next meeting, split that up a little bit, just so obviously it's not a bill for $7,000 off the bat.
When was the last time that we did the inspections, Robbie? Not to interrupt you. Was it like before COVID? It was during COVID?
I had some that I had started them because it was when I proposed the new schedule. So I was doing 6 a week up until basically when COVID started, and then that was it. So my last inspections actually coincided with when we were shutting everything down, because my last inspections were the last week of March, and then everything else was after
It's
that.
either March 12th or 15th. That's when the state started closing everything down. So,
Yeah.
so whatever you did before that is good. And after that, just, there was nobody selling food, making food. So,
Yeah,
that becomes their, let's say, March quarterly inspection becomes the June. It just, they didn't get caught before the virus took place. So.
a
It just
number
seems
of
like they're very lax right now. No, it seems like
Yeah,
too
it's
lax.
scary as to how bad it is.
A lot of what I've been hearing has been, unfortunately, the same across the board. Almost every restaurant that's had significant issues has said that they've had issues with getting their staff back. So they're either in the process of hiring new staff, or the staff came back they really didn't want back, because their staff is making too much on unemployment at the moment. So they're refusing the job.
Wow. That's scary. So they have totally new staff that's fairly green. They're going to make mistakes before they,
Exactly. But
I guess it was that saying that people are making more money on unemployment plus the 600, whatever a month. I guess we need to take that away and say, you can go back to work now.
Well, that happens.
The board knows that, Rob is acting as an instructor to some of these greenhorns,
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
He's doing the food inspections, but he's also acting as an instructor. I mean, he's gone above and beyond. I just rather the board recognizes that.
Yeah.
The thing with this though is, I mean, we thought, 5 or 6 violations was bad. We're talking double digits,
Right.
15, 26 violations.
I know.
mean,
Part of
that's
it is
acceptable.
going to be the new software, because when we had done, and this might have been my mistake prior, when I was doing the paper forms, when I had multiple violations that were the same thing. So for instance, if it was one fridge that had 3 or 4 items that were uncovered, I was marking that as one item, whereas
Just one, yeah, see?
it's being marked as all separate.
Yeah. But I think the way it should be, because if you get sick from just the one item that you marked, you get rid of it, you don't get sick. But if there's 3 of them in there and someone bought one of them, then, it's the same item in the same fridge, but it got consumed. What I'm saying right now is we're kind of lucky since we just opened. No one's gotten sick. We caught the stuff before it got sold. Or like some people, they'll get a little sick and they'll say, geez, it must be, a bug, They're
I don't
hoping
know.
it's not
If you look at some of that social media, people have commented on the Chinese food restaurant and how they're tagging people saying, remember how sick you got? And
Yes.
people
I
are
agree.
definitely commenting, and people don't know that when they get sick to contact Board of Health whether they think it's that or not, because it could be.
One thing I did want to mention to you guys, and I know Bruce and I had talked about it a couple times, is I wanted to see if we could do something similar to what Uxbridge does, which this system will allow us to do, where we can actually post all of our inspection reports to the town website. So if you go on Uxbridge's, they can click on recent inspection reports. It'll show every restaurant they've inspected recently and show their most recent report. I look at it as if people have Yelp for reviews, I mean, people are going to talk either way, but.
We spoke about that before, and I think we're a little leery on that. Maybe grading on the door, but I think we're leery on that. I don't know.
But I think posting the reports is good. It's public info. Or is it? I think it is.
It gives them a goal to shoot for,
Right.
I mean, it is all public information, so if someone wanted to see the reports, they could.
I don't see why they
Someone now could call the Board of Health and say, listen, hey, I was at this restaurant, and I don't know, a friend of mine got sick, let's say. Do you have inspection reports for the last 6 months? Could be a Freedom of Information request. I would rather post it and let somebody see it, maybe, you know, it encourages people to be
Maybe we should
perfect.
ask town council or something on that. I mean, what if, you know, we put out there that this one company had 26 violations and it ruins their business and then they could sue. I don't know how that works. Maybe,
I don't know. I mean, it's truth. It's not reporting something it's not like giving someone a, what do you call that word? Where you damage them in their business by making a statement that's incorrect. This is actually a food inspection report,
I agree.
federal and state, that is actually has to be conducted by the Board of Health, or else we're not doing our job. And I'm certainly thinking if we're not doing our job, someone's going to come down on us, especially if someone gets sick. Oh yeah.
Part of the reason I'm saying it too is, that, for instance, Bamboo. I know that part of the catalyst for them on top of them shutting it down was they actually seen the Facebook thread. So his first question was, what can I do to kind of fix this? I mean, the more that the public knows, obviously people are going to talk, and I think that's going to make them wise up to it more than anything else. However, also saying that, I do know that he is also informing they took a pretty big financial hit since the Facebook post. They were averaging somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 a day, and I think right after the post they were down to 6. So, I mean, it is going to hurt their business, but I think the only way people learn is when it hurts their pocket.
Yeah.
I would give
I
him.
mean,
50,
Kelly's right. We could ask town council, but I'm sure if there are other towns other than Uxbridge, I know cities are doing it. You can go to their website and it's posted. The Cape does it. A lot of places they do it. And then they also, in some towns and cities, they rate them. You know, this has been an A-rated establishment for like umpteen years. Same staff, same management.
If you wanted to do something more along those lines and putting a letter grade on every door, I mean, we could do that too. I feel like it's something the public should know. They might not need to know the details of the report. They can always request that if you
Right.
feel more comfortable that way. But
The only thing is like what Kelly had said once, if someone has perfect reports for a whole, let's say 5 years, and you say, this is an A, and then someone says, yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't have a mistake. And all of a sudden, it's sort of like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's favoring something. I think if you use, we did that with tobacco in 2001 through 4, where we rated the establishment's ability to have a smoke-free environment for where there was smoking allowed. They had to have smoke eaters. They had to have separately ventilated, separately controlled eating, and then bar areas. But we did use a letter system on, the quality of the air. So we used an A, B, C, I think. I don't know if we used a D, but that was Walter's idea. Or it was 1 through, actually it was 1 through 4. A 1 place had no controls. A 4 had the highest level of controls in the establishment. So I don't know. The MMA didn't like that. They weren't crazy, but it's the Board of Health's authority to rate, the things. And when our smoking person went into the place, it was perfect. They also got rated that they didn't get caught on a sting where people were smoking outside the bar right at their table in a non-smoking area, So, and then the easy thing about that, the state just said, there's no smoking in restaurants. That was so nice. Just, it took, made it easy.
I was being the devil's advocate when saying that, so maybe we can, starting with the next reports, when people are finally getting back on track,
Yeah,
maybe
right.
start
Let's
then.
get 'em-
And then
let's
putting
get
the
'em up.
first report as 26 violations. I don't know. Just an
I
idea.
mean, even in extreme cases like this, I mean, if there is an event where it's uncommon for a restaurant to have so many, like if it was, the Honeydew on North Main, or the Honeydew on Pulaski, for instance, where they've had like 4 good reports in a row. If they have 1 bad one, like we can hold off and post their reinspection, because obviously we do a reinspection a week later.
Right.
Just so that we have more accurate information. I'm not looking to hurt anyone's business any more than they're already going through, but at the same time, I think that they still need to. There was issues before COVID that needed to be addressed, so I think this just amplified them a bit.
I can reach out to the Uxbridge Board of Health too and just ask them if they've had any
Yeah,
issues.
check with Kristen. I had that conversation with her already. And it was her recommendation that that's what they did. So and she thought it was working pretty good. It generated more competition with the different restaurants there to see who could get the better grades, and you know, you want to put on social media, hey, I got a 98 on my food report, you know, it's going to.
Yeah, I mean, they can use it as a plus thing too, in that sense, you know. And you're right, if you get competition spurs, you know, let's say, striving to get the best number, and I guess it would be you get the best clientele coming to you, you know, people seeking you out, you know, for a particular kind of food. Because, you know, if they only have one type of establishment, then I guess it's, you know, probably a moot point, but whatever, I don't know.
But like Robbie said, the people that just keep having these issues over and over again learn to correct it without some type of something.
Just one other comment for you, Rob. The person that came in and helped you out with the Chinese restaurant, is that person going to be around long-term to make sure that we get a clean report next time, and all of a sudden it goes right back? Because that's what was happening over the last 2 years.
Exactly. So
Good one, maybe 2 good ones, then a real bad one. And we used to think 3 and 4 was bad, 5. But again, we have new criteria and new stuff for reporting. And, you know, just hearing what you said, it should have been reported the way you're doing it now, not before.
Yeah.
I have 10 items in a particular cooler and they're all out of temperature. I have a great likelihood someone's going to buy a couple. After you do your inspection, those are thrown away. But prior to you doing it, they just ingested something. Again, they don't get a 6 of, they don't know where it came from. You know, I don't know. I mean, I think in this case, you know, the 16s and the 26s, if this is a one-time thing, because again, new employees just starting up again, they forgot how to walk. Okay, we'll wait till they go through to September or you know, or the fall. At that point, you better learn how to walk, you know, or you're not gonna, you know, get a good rating from the Board of Health, you know.
Another thing I think we should discuss too is how many criticals do we allow so that Robbie can make the decision on the spot? I mean, he shouldn't have
Yeah,
to call
I know.
us.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows better than us.
I apologize for calling you guys so much recently.
No, that's fine.
No.
That's don't feel you can't call.
No.
Yeah, call anytime.
Leave a message, because I keep my phone with me unless it dies and I don't have a charge
Right.
cable. It doesn't happen too often.
Put it this way here, you don't have to be the bad guy alone. You let the 3 of us, and Bruce, 4 of us, help you out when you're out there. The same goes for anybody else who's doing inspections on the Board of Health, you know. We don't want somebody going like, oh, geez, you know. You know, we don't have to call a police officer because someone's going to give me that report, you know.
Well, I do really like having the new software because it makes it easier to walk through the restaurant. Because part of the things we ran into before, where obviously when people notice that you're documenting something, they know there's something wrong and then they try to fix it when you have the conversation and when you've noted it. So having the pictures of everything that I report on the way has made those conversations a lot easier. If you notice my most recent reports, I've actually taken the picture of the temperature I'm getting, that way that there's no discrepancy as to the actual numbers on anything, because people
Yeah,
can say,
that's
well,
good too.
I zapped it and it was a 44. That's great because that was swapped out between, you know, when I checked it at 65 and now. So I mean, these inspections are taking an hour. I mean, Seoul to Mexico was 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So just
And the other thing too is it's not like we, how do I say, dabbling on a degree or a degree and a half. You know, it's like they're not even close some of the time. It's scary. I mean, you know.
So how many criticals does it take to I mean, it's up to Robbie. I guess to your discretion, Robbie. Obviously, soap in a bathroom's a critical, but that's not something to shut somebody down from. You know?
Right.
I've been doing it more off of the actual number score. Because again, the criticals, you're losing so many points, but again, if it's one particular issue, you could end up with a 60 and then have it be one thing. So for instance, like PJs that had, I think it was 6 or 8 items that were out of temperature. They were all in one temperature unit. So the
Right.
solution was just having the technician come out to fix that unit rather than obviously shutting them down. So
Right.
I've been doing it more or less, not so much on the number, but if you're coming up at anything under a 70, I'm considering obviously more corrective
Right.
action, but 70 with multiple issues. It's not so much the criticals. I think it's more just type of criticals.
Okay. Like you said, if it's coming from one area versus systemically.
Yeah. So like
Systemically, you close them down. But if it's one freezer, one refrigerator, one self-serve, you just take that one out of service. They can stay open, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, then you have cross-contamination. You got raw chicken over cooked chicken. I mean, there's also another
yeah, in
time
that
when you
case,
gotta
you know, in that case, that critical is a
close them
little
down.
more worrisome. But
Yeah, I mean, you got to keep it raw
if you throw that product away and close that fridge or freezer down, say, listen, you can operate without that until you get it fixed. You can stay open. I don't know. I would offer that. How do I say it?
I'm fine with leaving it to Robbie's discretion.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine. Yeah,
he's been doing it
I think the
long
way
enough.
you've been doing it's fine. Certainly, when you call this with all the outrageous numbers, you know, you didn't expect any one of us to say, "Oh yeah, leave them open. They're fine."
The ones that have had obviously either had repeat issues or ones that were heavily, but also, for instance, like Grumpy's official score today was a 40 out of 100, but they weren't temperature issues, it was storage issues. So like time temp is obviously a bigger issue than some of the others, but even storage issue is considered a critical. So the issue with them was just they had boxes of food on the floor in the walk-in, which obviously needs to all be elevated 6 inches and so on and so forth.
Right.
And they had 21 items that were uncovered. But their 40 versus, you know, Bamboo Express's 56 was Bamboo Express had raw meat in the back. So, I mean, it's really going off of, you know, I do it off of what I eat here.
Yeah.
And prepping food in the mop sink. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Or the uncovered food in the storage closet.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I mean, years ago there was one restaurant where they had the thing they clean the terrazzo floors with. It's like a hydroxide soap. So you only do it at night when everything's, and they have to rinse it really well down the drain. But they had their rice and flour and bread on the same skid, you know, and what's her name went crazy, you know. So, I mean, in that case, she called me. I went out there and I said, and then I found insulation falling onto the prep area from the ceiling. So I said, you know what, you're closed. I said, you know, we'll see you in the morning or in the afternoon. This has to be totally cleaned up. And I said, all that food that's open near the soap, and it was like a lie. I said, it has to be thrown away. I said, so.
Actually, while I'm on the topic of inspection reports, I pulled one up here. I don't know if you guys want me to share it with you on your screen or if you have it, but the report I did on Breakfast Nook, I had some questions for you because there was a number of repeat things as well as, you know, some larger issues, but I got a bit of pushback from the owners when I tried to correct them. Obviously, you're getting the answer of, we've been closed down for so long, we're doing what we can, we have no money, you know. I mean, I've got the same sob story. But it also doesn't take money to change clothes. So, for instance, when I had come in, neither of the 2 employees were wearing gloves of any type the entire time I was there, even after I had mentioned to them that they needed to be wearing them. Food separation and protection, again, they had a bunch of uncovered items. They had only had 3 or 4, but still they were uncovered and in storage. Your proper cold holding temps, they had eggs, sausage, a bunch of things that were out of temperature. They had openly admitted to having previous issues with rodents. They also admitted to me that they were doing their own pest control because they weren't fond of the person that was doing it previously. So they told me that they put poison underneath the crawl space to kind of remediate any issues. Obviously, there was still garbage issues. If you look in the report, you can see the gentleman that is working has no gloves on. You can see some of the unwrapped items, one of which was a sauce that you're not going to be able to see anything that would have fallen in, essentially, which is why those are bigger issues. It had just eggs sitting on the side. I did advise them to try to put them on an ice bath or something to maintain temperatures. But I did also find a complaint online that said that they're storing food inside the houses next door, which in a way would not surprise me because the actual space is small. They did have food items stored in their outdoor gazebo, which basically is just a dirt floor to the indoors. So
We also did catch some, didn't we catch some cooking stuff in the back house and bringing it to the restaurant at one point?
When I had pulled in for an inspection, I had seen one of the owners running from the back house with meats in his hand, but at the same time, when I went in for the inspection, the catering truck was back there, so they told me it came from the catering truck, and I wasn't able to press beyond that. So I don't know where in my abilities or authorities I would be able to possibly investigate that further. I did basically come out and ask them during the last inspection. They told me they were rental properties and that they had no food there, but again, I hate to say I don't believe them, but I don't. So.
That's been a complaint for a lot of years. You know, the other thing too with pest control, we had a lot of issues sometimes when it's really warm out. All the screen doors were open and it was just wide open.
Well, the back door, so basically the back end of their back of house where their kitchen line is just an open door where they had put mesh or like not wire mesh, but like screen material.
Yeah.
That has been walked through so many times that there's a giant hole in it that doesn't touch the floor. And even if it did touch the floor, I mean, something as small as a mouse could come through, let alone something smaller like ants, and then you have other issues. So they refuse to fix it because they tell me that the door is such an awkward size that they can't get a permanent door to fit there. So I really don't know what to do in some of these cases.
So their re-inspections aren't being done, or they're being done, but they're not rectifying their.
There's
fixing some of the stuff or just none of it?
Essentially none of it.
None. Okay.
The only
Something needs to be done.
I can't say none because they did, during their COVID shutdown, they did take charge and they actually refinished their entire floor in the restaurant, which was above and beyond what we had asked them to do prior. They just had a section they had to refinish, but they took the time to redo everything just to make it more aesthetically pleasing. And they are working currently on the restaurant to make it better. But again, they're fixing things that weren't as big of an issue to me. These were things that were 6 and 12-month goals, not things that need to be fixed within the next week.
Right. Now we need to keep the food safe. We need to keep it off the floor. We need to keep.
So what do we do? Do we send out a notice, a letter, a formal notice? Something should be done. I mean, it's got to be a consequence.
Yeah, I mean, I get nervous about putting poison in the crawl space as a layperson. Excuse me, as a non-applicator, licensed one. You can't really do that. Especially, you can do it in your house because you can go to Home Depot and buy it. But if you're a store owner and you're buying pesticide and applying it yourself where food is, someone's going to get really toxic results, I mean, some of it's systemic, will kill you.
Yeah.
Some you have to, how do I say it? You have to accumulate it for years. So you kind of hope that the person who gets some is old, so they can't, say they died from that. But, you can imagine younger people going in there with the family and they're picking up a toxic level at times,
So where do we go from here? Do we send a
I don't
formal
know.
letter?
I guess we got to send them a letter saying, like, the screen door, even if it's an odd door, you can go to Home Depot, get screen and weather stripping. That's an easy fix, and it shouldn't be a 6-month goal. That should be like, I'd be a nice guy, 2 weeks, you should be able to fix that door.
I understand why they are leaving the door open because it's obviously brutally hot in all the kitchens right now, and it being in the middle of summer. And they said that they do have employees that when they're not working on the line or when they take their breaks, they do go to that outdoor area where it's covered just to try to cool off a bit.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. But at the same time, for it to be open for the entirety of the time that they're working, I mean, there's 8 hours of anything to potentially walk in. That's not a human.
Robbie, when you do your reports, do they sign the reports to show that they received it or anything, or that
They
you
do.
saw
They have
them?
to sign off on it before I'm able to close it out.
So why don't we get the last like 3 reports or whatever for them, draft
Yeah.
a letter showing what they haven't done yet, and give them a timetable that they have to get
Right.
this done. We have to have a consequence. I mean, they're not
Right.
exempt.
And
Well, even-
prioritize the stuff that they did that you said was a 6 or a year goal, 6 month or a year goal. That could have waited, even though I gotta admit, during the COVID time, it's a great time to do it. Tear a floor out, put a whole floor in instead of piecing it. But
again,
now we have little issues that are, let's say, I don't know, a week, a day's goal, and minimals. You know, it's not too expensive to fix a door. Replacing it could be expensive if it's odd size, but I'm saying get weather stripping.
their solution is that they just wanted to hang more of the mesh. But again, the mesh doesn't touch the ground. It's
No, it has to have a wiper seal somehow. It's like a screen door. It has to have a weather tight seal. You know, for either moisture, you know, rain coming in, or splashing off the parking lot up onto the surface, or like you said, insects. You know, mosquitoes, flies, ants, rodents. I'm assuming they're just going to get through any hole. They're usually not going to use the screen door.
You know, I'm surprised I didn't walk in and see a raccoon on the grill, quite frankly, from the size of the hole in it.
Yeah.
One thing they brought about earlier. One thing going forward, the program will pick up the repeat offenses and flag them. Unfortunately, you know, going back in history, it's all been written, so it's not as easy. But I mean, going forward from here, the next few reports, if it's a common reoccurrence, it's going to get flagged. So I mean, that's the one, you know, nice benefit about that program.
Yeah.
The program is great.
Highlighted in yellow.
So do you want to wait till the next time and then not go back to the paper and say, listen, or like Kelly said, we use the paper reports for previous, this one here electronically, and say, listen, you got to correct these things here.
They've signed off on it, so it's not like they don't know about them.
No,
They're just,
and what I'm
like,
saying
you
is
know,
prioritize the critical, easy to fix that could do the most harm.
Yeah.
I mean, if we grab the reports and tag a list and, you know, give them a timeline of when we expect this to be fixed. If it's, you know, it's not done by our next inspection, that, you know, it's going to result in a favorable situation for them.
So
Especially if
Robbie,
they go
how do they get a copy of those reports now that they're not paper? Because when we did paper, you'd give them a copy and then you keep a copy.
They have copies the moment I leave because the software emails it to them once they sign up.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So they should have copies of it already. I do confirm their email with them when I go in. I've asked every person.
He's able to email them as well as all the members of the board and myself. So you guys are seeing it almost live. I mean, it's coming in quick.
Yeah, when
That's
I
cool.
come home and generate your emails because I have to attach all the PDFs. But when I do it for them, I just hit send right from their inspection.
So maybe verify he got the email, he opened it up, he looked at it, and then say, we'll give you copies, if he doesn't have it, of the 2 previous paper ones. And then just go over with them. These have to be fixed, you know. And I think they sound like they're not too expensive, too time consuming, but they have a lot of reward.
It was cheaper than the floor. And in the amount of time it would have taken you to special order a door, you could have already been done. So
Yeah.
but,
Or like I said, maybe, you know, get someone who's good with, you know, fixing a door and just make do with that door because it's odd size, and just put a seal on the bottom, weather strip it, like as if it's winter, but weather strip it so insects can't get in through there, and put new screen. And then maybe where the employees are pushing in the screen, ripping it, put one of those fabric guards, you know.
Push button.
Yeah, well, no, even those, you know, they use them like to protect glass so nobody puts their hand through if it's not safety. It's a little mesh. It's screwed to the door. It actually gives the door a little more integrity too. It's not very heavy. Put it on both sides, although usually the door you pull open, you don't push through. So.
And then just to follow up on that point.
Is it one door or is it multiple doors?
It's one door at the back.
One door, okay, great. So it's not like he's renovating the whole building, you know?
No. But just sticking with the same restaurant, what should I do or should I pursue the potential food that's being stored inside of the house. Again, it's not necessarily an issue for them to do it,
Right.
but they would need to be doing it properly. And
Correct. You're not seeing that operation. And, you know, years ago we had a power plant, a very strong crew, hardy iron workers. 98 of them went to the hospital because someone was making egg salad in a house and bringing it and then selling it in the back of their station wagon. Virtually shut down the whole power plant for 30 days. I mean, people, they were sick and they were, you know, some could have died. But
So if they are storing food in their home, don't they have to ask for permission for that? And then we have to be able to go in there and inspect?
correct.
Yeah.
but
Yes.
they're not admitting to doing it.
Right, right. So I don't know. The other thing you could do is, I don't know, outside of your normal inspection time, just, I don't know, stake it out. See if you see that happening. And if
In your free time, Robbie.
I mean, I do have complaints on it, so I didn't know if I could.
Yeah, well, I've heard that one several times before, maybe 10 years ago. So yeah, I probably think it's true. But we didn't follow up on it. We just, you know, we were trying to get the restaurant going. They had
One of
septic
our-
issues too. One year there was septic fluid all over the parking lot, people walking in. There was sewage everywhere. So that was a bigger health hazard. So, you know, we let the little things go at those days. But they're not so little. You know?
There on a daily basis, so we've got eyes on the ground there. So
Yeah, and maybe a picture of it, and then you show it to them and say, listen, this is not going to happen anymore. I need to inspect it, or you need to make it in the back room of the restaurant, not in the house. You know?
I do.
If they don't have refrigerators there, enough of them, I guess as long as you temp their fridge in the house, they could use the fridge, you know?
I do know that they're short on refrigeration because their walk-in cooler died years ago, from what they've told me. So
yeah,
they've just been using the little chest coolers and whatever they have in the restaurant. But again, it's a smaller space to try to hold everything. So.
I mean, we can't go on hearsay. We got to see it and capture it. And then I guess at that point, you'll have to confront them and say, listen, you know, this is a no-no. You know, I mean, unless they say, oh, you can inspect it. You know, I don't know how they're going to say, like, oh, we didn't know that was a rule. I think you sort of hinted it was when you brought it up. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's it. So what else, Rob?
I think that's pretty much it. Is there any particular restaurants you guys had questions on? I mean, I've done probably about 80 inspections so far, so I don't remember all of them.
It's good we don't have problems in 80 places, but okay, that's good.
We just have 80 in one, so.
Right.
No questions here.
Do you guys
Should
like
we-
the way that the reports
Do we
are?
amp up the amount of inspections? I mean, I'm surprised we got this many that we had to shut down. It's kind of,
I think a lot of it is due to COVID, but at the same time, it would hurt to probably revisit some of these places because there is a number of them that we're only inspecting once or twice a year.
Right.
And I mean, although they may be great at the day that I go, I don't know how they are the other 360 days a year.
Yeah, maybe you could step it up a little. I don't know.
one of the other things Vinny, Rob and I spoke about, and Kelly had mentioned to me earlier, there are a few select places that might need a little more frequent visits and inspections. Not all of them, but a few of them that we may want to make a list so that the board's aware of which ones we're watching more. But what it'll do is it'll affect the overall budget if he's got, instead of 4 inspections a year, 6 inspections a year. But Rob and I are going to try to work on a list of the ones we think the ones that are the culprits, and then I'll share it with the board.
Well, put it this way here: the funds have gone into the revolving fund, and usually, in the old days, we had multiple inspectors. We were paying for insurance and all that. Now, as you guys being employees and doing that, anything over the 35K goes right back to the town. you know, if we're using it for food and we're just doing multiple inspections, the number we do is the minimum. We can't do less than that. There's no rule that says you can't do more, especially like you said, there's cases where, you know, okay, they had a good one, they had a bad one. Now I'm not going to see them for a year. That's not a, you know, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy.
No, we'll work on that then, and we'll keep the board abreast of the ones we're watching closely.
Like I said, it hasn't happened. I'm hoping it doesn't. But all we need is a rash or a couple of foodborne illnesses. You go to the hospital, get pumped. Trust me, that goes all the way up to us and the DPH in a heartbeat. And then, you know, someone's going to call and say, so who's doing your food inspections? You know, yeah, you know, I mean, it happened to me when, you know, it was a weekend and the state epidemiologist and the state person, you know, and I wasn't at home, so I didn't get the message from the hospital. So they promptly just called DPH. And then, you know, I had to go down there. Mike was unavailable. I had to close it down. I mean, it was like a nightmare. But,
Did we put regulations in place before? I thought we did. Like anyone that had over 3 needs to come into a Board of Health meeting. The fines, we have fines in place too, right?
Yeah.
I just need a refresher on that.
We also said that we could bring them before the board in lieu of a fine. They have to tell us a plan on how they're going to correct this because it can't happen again, you know?
I believe it was 3 or more criticals, then the inspector was to call Bruce. And then if they did it again, they had to come before the board. And then if they did it again, the 3rd time, they'd have to do their serve safe over again.
Right. Okay.
That was the.
Yeah, I don't think we were. You're right. I don't think there were fines. It was a series of things they had to do.
There was a fine.
There was? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I believe that if it was 3 or more, they had to come. They had to answer to you guys. I had to notify you.
Okay.
If it was a repeat violation within a
Oh,
year,
that's a fine. Yeah.
that was a fine.
That was a fine. Okay. Fine.
Anything over a certain amount, we had to have them redo their serve safe.
Do you
Okay.
think
Yeah,
we should bring in Bamboo and the ones over 10 criticals to come in? I mean, they need to know it's pretty serious. I mean, I think they know now, but.
Yeah. If they didn't get it from you, Rob, if they have to come before the board, I think they'll get the hint.
I think that Bamboo personally is much better. I know part of it was probably a language barrier and a little bit of stubbornness, but
Absolutely.
they addressed that. The other ones, I mean, from this point going forward, I can only hear that it's because they're short-staffed so much. They're obviously going to be able to hire within the next few months. So maybe for the next quarter, we can start reusing that with it, and then obviously just use these ones at our discretion. So just notify you when there's anything that's maybe not 3, but anything that's a little bit more extreme, like I have been doing, and so on and so forth. Or if you want to notify at 3, I still can do that. Just want.
I think Rob and I have pretty good success. I mean, if Rob is overwhelmed by it, calls me in, and the 2 of us go in there, I think that, you know, we've been able to turn things around on the 2 or 3 that we've done that with already, and you know, maybe on the first around, you know, having that chat with them, and then if that fails, then get them to come before the board, you know, get an additional step there. But I mean, it seemed to have worked pretty good when we went and talked to Bamboo and sold to Mexico and whatever. So I, you know, maybe we'd take that as a step and then, you know, come before the board.
Okay.
I also think, I mean, them being closed down for 2 or 3 days is kind of an eye opener. It's a punishment in itself.
We did talk about that today too. Saying, you know, that does, you know, hit somebody in the pocket. We've been somewhat lenient now with in these places already suffering financially. That we wanted to be a little more lenient, but still, you know, get the point across.
Right.
So we'll wait till next inspection, or like you said, if you decide to do an extra and see if it passes the test. And if it does, then we're okay. If it doesn't, then they maybe should see the board.
I think that at minimum, any of the risk level 2s and 3s should be done at least once a quarter, just because, I mean, even seeing them every 90 days, it is it's better than 180.
Right.
So at least that, I mean, the places like Advanced Auto, where they just have some candy bars that I have to go look at, like those obviously don't need to be done all the time. But anywhere that's maybe like restaurants themselves that are serving food more
Right.
frequently, I think should be done at least 4 times. So I can have these all first, maybe start enacting this for what would be August inspections, basically. Or all the ones that would be due in August, because I'll try to keep up with the schedule again and maybe do a few a week so that you guys, again, aren't getting bombarded with, here's the 50 inspections I did this week, any questions? It'll just be broken up a little bit better now that we're hopefully on the upswing with COVID.
The other thing you mentioned some, Rob, especially like the prepackaged. Since most of the places were down for 3 months, does the new software make sure you check like expiration dates and stuff?
Yep, it's all in
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Good. Okay. Haven't found much of that where there's stuff that's.
The only places where I ran into expiration dates were actually restaurants where they just apparently stopped caring that they prep stuff. I mean, I found stuff that was 2 weeks old that was still on the shelf.
Okay.
So
2 weeks better than 2 months, though. You know, I'm just.
No, but
I'm worried about like you said there, that something that's 2 months out. You know.
So yeah, I say it's up to Robbie's discretion as to how he wants to handle a shutdown. You would know better than us. So
Sure.
if you're unsure, then feel free to reach out to one of us. But I think I'm comfortable with leaving it up to you, if everyone else.
I'll still notify you the same way that I have and just tell you that this is what I'm thinking. I mean, even just to have someone to play devil's advocate, where if you think I'm being too harsh on someone,
Right.
do that.
Yeah, bounce it off of us. That's what we're here for. So it works out.
Okay. You want to do bills first?
Yeah. Hang on.
We're waiting for it. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. I'd like to make a motion to pay WB Mason $121.58 for office supplies.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to pay another WB Mason for thermostats, $172, or thermometers rather, $172.83.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, opposed, motion carries.
And I'd like to make a motion to pay ADC Septic and Robert Spiker for a septic betterment install, $11,750.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
And last is I make a motion to approve the payment of, Phil's Landscaping and Stephen Rivette for betterment and septic install system at 12 Bliss Road, $21,009.
No,
That's 346, Teresa.
Oh, sorry. How come his address is 12 Bliss Road?
Oh, no,
That's Spiker and ADC.
Oh, that's what this says, so sorry.
Okay.
So the invoice, 346 Teresa Road.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Trish, I'll drop these off tomorrow.
Okay.
Actually, Spiker is Bliss Road.
Yeah, 12 Bliss and Rivette is 346 Teresa.
Oh, I see where she got that. She had the wrong address on the bill.
You want me to do them over again, or?
No, you got the right address, but the one that's on the bill there should be 46 Teresa. if you want to cross.
I crossed it out and I put the corrected address.
Good, thanks.
Is that our agenda?
That's it, other
I
than
think that's it.
we've got,
Anyone? Do we want to make a motion to adjourn, or are we done?
Someone just needs to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Okay, I second that. Tricia? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Jamal.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
How are you?
Hi,
I'm sorry,
how
I
are
have
you?
a difficult time getting on to the Zoom meeting. So I called Laura and she teach us how to go because we had different way to go in there. So I wasn't in on time, but I was sitting here since 6:45. So can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Just wanted to let you know we are actually been beaten a lot by, as what happened with the state. And then we had some store, we closed them all up, kept this one, trying to avoid the bankruptcy. Then Bellingham came out with the vape ban. See, we don't have beer and wine. We don't have food license. We don't have nothing compared to anybody else. And if we don't sell that, our sale is now $300 to $400 a day. We can't even survive with this kind of money with our house bills or anything. I mean, it's top of everything. Corona, and when we was closed, when you guys did that in April the 9th, we was closed for 3 months because of Corona ban. And when we reopened in June the 8th, I saw that letter, and we have product, and peoples are going to, my peoples are going to the wound socket line to AJ's and Quick Mart to buy that stuff all over from Bellingham. And I know Norwood did something, Brockton did something, but they let the adult store sell it because we have nothing else to sell other than that. So it's just like a closing us down. And why you want to do that?
Did you want to relinquish your adult only and get your food permit again?
Actually, food, I have very small store, right? So why I have small store, the food doesn't sell, we try. The lottery, I cannot compete with them. Beer and wine, I can keep on that store, very small store. And the sale lately is not much we do, but we do enough to survive. $800. We don't sell a lot of like used to be. It's not about making money anymore. It's about surviving. And it's available all over the place, from Bellingham to Woonsocket to, next Franklin and all over the place. If this is not that somebody can access that, where our customers are going all over the place, and there's a few left now. It's not a lot of business we have anymore. And the Bellingham, the only one who's doing everything. I mean, Norwood did let them adult people stores sell it because that's how we're gonna survive. Otherwise, we have to file a bankruptcy, and we're trying to avoid that for all that time. With all these things going on, and then the Corona going on, and then we just reopened recently, and we haven't been sleeping peacefully. So worry how we're gonna pay our bill because we're the only one who survive on that. We got nothing else to sell.
Like I said, did you want to relinquish the adult only and go back to being the convenience store food permit with the food permit?
And what happened then?
That's what you were originally, right?
Yeah, I really don't sell. We try the food, as you know, right? And we are very small store compared to our competitions all over the place. There's only one way to do it. Sell some of the vape. Usually they buy from states, New Hampshire or Connecticut, and they just buy sometimes devices from a small one. When they break down of coils and stuff like
Well,
that.
it's hard to compare with different states. We're a state of Massachusetts.
Just
have
wanted
their
to
own.
say, state of Massachusetts already banned everything.
Mhm.
Now we have just little bit things to sell, and those sell things available all over the place, all over Massachusetts and Woonsocket. And literally 2-3 minutes from us is the customer is going over there to buy what devices, and little things. Why us? We have to close down, and we don't have any way to survive. I mean, our house mortgage, our bills, we can't pay that with $300-400 a day. We can't even take out our payroll. It's just about surviving now. It's not making money. We are not making any money. I mean, you can come to our store. We can show you registered. We can show you our finances. We barely making end meets. And I don't know what else to do. We have nothing, zero to do anything.
So we can't, Jamel, we can't change the state laws.
No, I'm not asking you to change the state law. I'm asking you to keep the state law.
Keep the state.
Oh, you're saying to just let your store be able to.
Because I'm the only adult store. Yeah, that's it. Keep the state law. And there's things you put down about 4 of them. There's a right that we can't sell less than $250. That's fine with us, right? All the other things are fine. And there's one thing only where you say we can't sell vape devices and the tobacco vape. If you can give us that, I really can survive with that. And all over the places, wherever this is happening, adult stores are getting permission to do that.
Well, the issue is to try to keep it fair within town.
We have no food. We are not
as well.
We don't have beer and wine. We don't have a food. We don't have chips. We don't have lottery. We have nothing.
That's why I think we're asking you if you want to revert back to your original business
But
plan.
if we see, the problem is my store is only 1,000 square feet, right? Is that 1,000 square feet, what I'm going to put in there? The food, I can't compete with all these big people. And already all that things happen. All our money is gone. It's either this or I don't know what to do. We haven't been sleeping, me and my wife. We got a kid over here. We got a raise. And it's just keep the state law. We appreciate that. Everything else is good. Just let us sell, the vape product, which is not much left anyway. And little bit, which is...
Is your product FDA approved?
They all FDA approved.
They're all FDA approved.
Yes, we don't sell anything FDA.
And it's for cessation tobacco?
Yeah, that's it.
And do you have the documentation for that? Because that is an exemption, I believe. Vinny, is that right, or Trish?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It is.
Right,
If it's FDA approved and it's used to get people off of cigarettes, then that vaping product would be allowed under state and Bellingham law.
They all have to be, So
well, that's within our regulation. If you can prove it's FDA approved.
So what it is the tobacco, hello, I believe they are FDA approved. They're a big company. I don't know. I mean, the state law says you can sell these things. We don't do anything illegal, right? So whatever state says you can sell, that's what we asking you. And that's very limited. If you come to a store, it's very limited. Our shelves is empty, completely empty. Now, especially when the menthol is banned, all our menthol is gone, all our cigars are gone, flavored cigars are gone, right? Everything is gone. Whole store is empty. When we took down where we have little bit of the devices, our store is completely empty now.
So the only thing you need to do, go ahead, Cal.
No, I was going to say, just show us the products you're selling that are FDA approved and that it's within our guidelines.
Well, yeah, what is FDA approved means, I mean, devices, the devices, they're not, how they can be FDA approved?
They're not.
Oh, the liquid or the items that go in it would be FDA approved.
Yeah, those we have very limited, this company called Hello. Okay, that stuff, they don't have to be FDA approved by the state. Okay, Halo, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah, Halo juice, just a tobacco flavor.
Yeah, tobacco flavor, and that's it, nothing else.
Helen, Trish, I don't think the device would actually be FDA approved. But the
No, the
product that
liquid
goes
is
into
supposed
it,
to be FDA approved.
the product going into it has to be. That's what our rate says.
Yeah. So the way the state law is, everybody selling in the state.
I don't think we made that strict, did we? What the state was
Yes, you
selling?
made very strict.
We said electronic nicotine delivery system shall not include a product that has been approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration for the sale of or use as a tobacco cessation product or for other medical purposes and is marked and sold or prescribed exclusively for that approved purpose.
Okay, yep, I see that, yep.
Dad, we understand that you don't want us to sell the coils that they have to change every week when the coil burns down in the device. You saying anything related to the vape we cannot sell.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but no other town in the whole Massachusetts did that. I mean, Norwood did something. They said no gas station can sell 5% and smoke shop can. Okay, good. Brockton did that, smoke shop can. The whole Boston did that. Okay, smoke shops are okay to sell 5%, no other person, gas station or convenience store can do it. And that's the Massachusetts law is. And we staying according to the law. I mean, so I'm only very, very small stores trying to not survive, not making money. Seriously, I don't know how long we're gonna be open, but we are surviving. And I'm thinking
again, did you want to revert back to a convenience store, Jamal?
Anything else over there, the food doesn't sell. I just, if I appreciate that, if you can just keep me as an adult store and sell those, whatever the state is approving us to sell, that's it. But right, a cigar under $2.50, no. 99-cent cigar, no. Okay, good. Everything else is fine with me. Everything, those 4 or 5 things you put down, my brain is not even working anymore, being worried so much that I lost that paper and I kept it with me whole day. That this was about 5 things, right? The only thing is bothering us not selling vape product or, any vape-related nicotine. And I don't know why you guys did that when the Franklin is doing it, and Milford is doing it, and everybody else is doing it all over the place, all over the United States, Massachusetts. It's just making them close up, that's the only problem. I mean, you can check on the register, $200-300 a day. I have a little kid, or look over there, I gotta raise this kid. You know that. I have nothing left. Since what they did to us in state of Massachusetts, we're not making no money. We just keep on losing. And that's the only hope we had, is this store, we can survive on it. Me and my wife was talking sometime, I can go over there, you babysit. Sometime you go over there, I babysit. Maybe we cut the cable, we don't need it no more. We're trying to cut our budget down because we're not making money. We're losing money for a very long time. And now it's time to survive. And we were so happy when this opened up. All of a sudden, we're the only one in the whole state got this letter in Massachusetts. We can't do this. I don't know what to do. I'm very small store. 1,000 square feet. Everybody else is 4,000, 5,000 square feet. I can't compete with them.
Did you want to revert back to a convenience store and get your?
No, I can't. What I'm gonna sell in
but you didn't want to relinquish it before, and now you don't want it back. Remember, you wanted to
Never
keep.
wanted the convenience store. We tried the convenience store. Remember when we have food and everything?
No, we gave you an ultimatum. You were either going to be an adult-only store or you were going to be a convenience store.
So I
And you
took
did
the
not want to
adult.
relinquish your food permit. You did not want to.
Yes,
But then you finally
adult
said,
store. Why I took the adult store? Because I know I cannot sell any food over there. We tried it. I don't know if you remember or not. We had to throw all the food away because we are very, very small store compared to anybody else. You know, nobody came to us for lottery. We are lottery. Everybody else has, you know, they're going over there. The food was thrown away. All the food we purchased, we never sell anything. And that's why we wanted to stay adult store so we can sell, you know, these things. And we agree to it. We're never gonna sell it just for our family. Okay. And we was agree upon that. We did everything always you ask us to. We don't sell anything in our store, even we can, 221. You know, we have a system, the register doesn't even work if you don't get the ID. We put that in there. 3 years, we haven't had any violation. We were obeying the law. And now there's very limited things to sell. I just wanted to explain to you that what is going on with vape. It's nothing really left. Very limited
well,
things.
I think that's what we're trying to tell you is maybe your other option is to go back to your former business plan with the food permit and reevaluate.
Just tell me what I'm gonna sell over there. Very
What you
small.
sold before.
Nothing was selling. We had
beverages.
food, we had candies. Okay, we had candies, not all. We had food, we throw away all the food we purchased got expired because the Stop and Shop is there. And what else we can sell over there? I don't even want the beer and wine license because I don't have enough room to put that in there. Otherwise, I would ask you that, okay, give me a beer and wine license. Okay, and I can open that up, but where I'm gonna get the money for that? Now the bad thing is we don't have the money. Give us, you know, after Corona and all that, and state shutting us down for past year since November we've been closed. You know.
Yeah, if you remember, it was the state that shut everybody down. And
Yeah, I'm just saying if you can keep the state law, I'm not saying to, you know, not to obey state law. If we obey the state law and stick with the state law, right? But what you want to add in there, state law, we can sell a 99-cent cigar. But you want to add, we can sell more than 250. I'm fine with that. Okay. You want to add other things, I'm fine with that. Okay. You want to do more, I'm fine with that. But let us sell the vape, whatever we can. There's only tobacco we can sell, nothing else.
So we're listening to you, Jamal, and I think we all hear you loud and clear. There's no decision being made on changing that tonight. And we'll just look into what other towns and stuff are doing and let you know if we change our mind.
Okay, the other not doing anything. We the only one.
Well, there are 351 towns in the state of Massachusetts. We aren't the only one.
I called all over the place.
You called 350 other towns and asked.
I'm telling you, I know people all over the place. The only town, whatchamacallit, I called from friends. I got friends all over the place. From Brockton, that they want only Dutch store to sell it, and Norwood only a Dutch store to sell it. Okay, and nowhere else we have any news, because we are connected with the whole state. Ever since this happened, we are connected. We have one group. And Bellingham is the only one did that.
I think we're going to have to look at it and check with like Franklin and other towns around us and see.
Yeah, sure. I want you to look at it.
We're not going to be able to make a decision tonight.
That's fine with me. That's fine with me. But how long?
I would strongly recommend looking at your previous business plan, though, and just to reevaluate it.
I do that, but I know what happened. I don't know if you remember or not. Maybe Tricia remember is we had to throw away all the $5,000 of food we purchased because we couldn't sell it.
What was it?
I don't remember.
Okay, so we purchased when we first opened it. We got it as a convenience store, right? We purchased about $5,000-6,000 of product, food, then candies, and drinks and other things. We couldn't sell it. We had to throw all that away because it got expired after 6 months.
I thought that the reason why you switched those because you wanted to sell something else and you couldn't sell it unless you became
Correct.
adult only store.
No,
I don't remember quite
no,
frankly
no,
what it was. I
That
think
was
it
that.
what happened is we came adult only store, but everybody else was selling what we were selling. Adult only store means, I explained you, that state was gonna do adult only store can sell a flavor and we can't. This was gonna happen. Other people cannot flavor liquid. But what did this state did is shut down everybody, even us.
So everything that you sell in your store, you're saying that all the other convenience stores in our town can sell everything that you have in your store,
In Athol,
even though they're non-adult only.
before that, yeah, before the state law. But right now, the convenience store can sell, everybody else can sell what I can sell. They're selling all over the place.
Okay,
Right.
so the only difference is the vaping stuff now. They can't sell it. And you can't
They can
sell
sell it in the convenience store. Yes,
Right.
and gas station all over the state. Yeah.
No, well, I'm talking about just our town. I was just talking about our town.
Our town now, you ban that.
Right.
Before, everybody was selling what I was selling. The Cumberland was selling what I was selling.
So there's
The
nothing
Hilltop
in
was-
your store that no one else sells right now? Or before they changed the law?
Before this happened, yeah, everybody can sell everything.
So now they can't sell is what they're saying.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And he only
Now
has
you-
that product left
Yeah,
because he has no other
Everybody,
alternatives.
even who was adult store, everybody was allowed to sell what we were selling in the gas station. Like a Cumberland was selling liquid juices and devices and all that, what we were selling.
Well, only adult only can sell
Nothing else.
the product paraphernalia.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's the only thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, that was a big
that's
thing. That was
absolutely
a
right.
big thing that you did not want to give up then. I'm looking at my notes from years ago.
No, we are selling. The paraphernalia doesn't, you know what happened is, it doesn't sell anymore. Glass doesn't sell. You can check our sale. We have the salmon, used to be when we first opened up, it sold a lot. Now it doesn't. Everybody's using electric device. And we are allowed to sell that. It's not selling.
Something to reevaluate, Jamal, is all I'm saying. I think we're saying, but we'll have to, let's do some research on our end. But right now, as of June 1st, that is our regulation.
You know, you guys did that when we was not, we was closed for Corona,
It wasn't
No,
effective until June 1st.
A lot of customers.
We did the regulations in this December, January, and then we
But we was
approved them in
closed, you know what?
February. February 8th,
Closed
we
in
approved it.
March.
It wasn't effective until
No,
June
no,
1,
April 9.
2020.
April.
Look it up.
Yeah, April
We
9,
sent it out,
you
but it's
stamped
not
it.
effective until June 1st of 2020.
But we never got the mail. You know why? Because we was closed. We just started getting our mails.
It's on our website.
Well, we
And I
didn't-
believe Marilyn did send it to you.
No,
But regardless,
we
we'll
never
take a
seen it.
look.
After we were still meeting in February, and when we passed it, we were downstairs, I think, or actually we were upstairs. We had a pre-meeting downstairs, and then we wanted to do a public meeting upstairs in the Arcan room. We did that the second meeting in February, because the 8th we
Somehow
approved
I
all the
wasn't
changes.
informed with any letter or anything. I wasn't informed with.
Marilyn sent everybody.
Every
on
person
on that,
had
because
a,
the whole tobacco reg was revised,
Right.
being revised. It wasn't
Okay,
just adult.
somehow maybe she have sent it. Somehow I would never miss it for the world. I never
we
got
can
it.
send
But I
that
just
to
wanted
them,
to
right?
let you know. Look into it.
It's not important. No.
Yeah, you can look at the other towns. You can look at the other towns, please. But try to look soon, because we have no way surviving. I mean, how are we gonna survive with $200, $300, $400 worth sale? You know, how are we gonna survive? Look all over the state if you don't believe me. We're the only one who did that.
All right, Jamal. Anyone have anything else to say?
No, I guess we'll look at it and we'll get back to you at the next meeting. Whatever.
Next meeting or sooner than that?
No, probably won't be till the next meeting.
We're not,
Consider the food
we're
court.
gonna die by then. You tell me, suggest me, what do I sell over there? Nothing I can sell over there. Can I get a liquor license?
That's for the Board of Selectmen, not for us.
Yeah, see, that's the problem is I can't get anything to do over there. And plus,
Did you ask?
but no, I didn't ask. I don't have the money now. You know, you don't know how badly we've been hurt. It's been a lot of hurting happened to us. We're trying to avoid the bankruptcy. We're trying our best to avoid, cutting back our expenses. We had 2 cars, now we got 1 car. We cut back our own expenses. We're not buying anything for ourselves. We're trying to survive here. And we, you know, I appreciate that if you consider the state law the way they are. Yeah, cigar $250, that's fine. Everything else is fine.
Okay. We've heard you,
Just-
Jamal.
just-
We got to do some research and we'll discuss it at our next meeting, okay?
Yes, please help us. I don't want to lose my house. I love
Okay.
Bellingham. My store is since 7-8 years. And we are like a adult store. We are only one here. We are just surviving on
You
this
know,
store.
next meeting is month from today. I don't know how we're gonna survive. We haven't been eating.
2 weeks.
2
Right,
weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks
Okay.
from today.
Please help
Okay,
us.
all
I'm
right.
so
We will-
upset. I can't
okay.
sleep.
Okay, so 2 weeks from today,
2
you
weeks, yeah.
can check
We're not-
all over the place. You're gonna realize that we are the only one doing that. Nobody else is doing that. If we are the only one, would you consider that then?
All
Okay,
right, does someone want to make a motion to adjourn, please?
okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Have a great night, everyone.